The following thoughts and opinions we're going to discuss regarding this album are strictly of our own personal interests. We are not professional music reviewers. We encourage respectful discussion and friendly banter in each episode, but we do not condone and will not tolerate bullying or belligerence. You are welcome to take what we say regarding the albums we rate with a grain of salt.
Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rate the Record podcast, episode 77.
Yay, double digits.
Yeah, parallel edition. There's that joke I do every once in a while.
I guess every episode since 10 has been double digits, so that was kind of
but like
kind of a moot
double similar digits. That's why I say parallel numbers edition.
Twinsies.
And also 7. That's pretty lucky, isn't it?
It is, I think. I mean, it's 2/3 lucky.
Well, your unluckiest lucky hosts of the day are Kris and
Savannah, and I do want to use this time to speak about how unlucky I am.
Excellent.
If you are watching the video to this, audio listeners, I apologize, but I will describe what happened. Behind me, I have both of my stringed instruments up on the wall, finally.
Looks a little strange and different.
It does. I used to have a Tripping Daisy framed picture that one day fell on my back while I was sitting at the desk.
And now that you said that, I'm going to pop it up on the screen, the text you sent me with the picture.
Yes. I felt like I was in a death match wrestling match. I bent over to pick something up off the floor. I don't know if the back of my chair touched it. It was far up the wall, so I don't know what the deal was. But it fell and it broke on my back. So that was exciting and fun. And if you listen to the Mars Volta episode, I might be cursed. And
to the video viewers, I got a new poster of there's Cedric and Omar in the background behind me. So that Bedlam and Goliath curse, it was positive at first. That made it number 1 on the show. But now it's like really reared its ugly head.
So to reverse this so-called curse, should I buy a Ouija board and sort of fiddle around with it to kind of undo any bad that has come upon me?
Buy an old ancient Ouija board out of like an old market in some weird town, but you have to use a CD copy of Bedlam and Goliath as like the little hand piece that moves around the board.
Ooh.
That's the only way it's going to work, or else it won't.
Ooh. Okay. I'll think about it and then not think too hard because that sounds terrifying.
Excellent. And it's a good thing that we can cut off there because, my God, we've rambled on too long. We've not really even started the episode. So you know what? Welcome to today's show. We're glad you're here. Hope you enjoy your stay. We get around to music reviews eventually. Don't worry, I promise you. But we just got to get to the fancy beginnings first. And apparently that's fancy or anything. But if you do happen to like what you see and or hear today, depending on how you're listening to this, make sure you do one of a bunch of things, combination of things, maybe even all of them would be awesome. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, share, follow. All of those things help us build our musical community that that we're trying to build piece by piece, by brick by brick, by vinyl record, whatever. Regardless, we are trying to build that community. We want you to be a part of it. Your comments, suggestions, your reviews, everything help that. So yeah, go ahead and do all of those things no matter where you are.
And then we rate the record.
Eventually.
I haven't cut you off in a while, so I really had to do that.
Cut me off while I was silent. Okay, good job. You have to step in while I'm speaking. And now if you do it, it's just going to be in spite of me saying that. It won't be that great. You ruined your opportunity.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do it because I'd be like, well, you told me to, so I ain't going to do it now.
Exactly.
Yeah, demand, resistance, defiance.
Insert Filthy Frank clip here. Know your place, trash. .mp4 anyways, or WebM, I guess. But yes, this is the Rate the Record podcast, and you can do all those things to help us out and everything like that, because apparently you just like us bickering like this. But if you like it that much, there's also a financial option to support the show that you can do. Ko-fi.com/rate the record. Join the RTR club, $5 a month. It gets you a bunch of stuff, bonus content, and you get a shout out. If you have music, we will go ahead and listen to that and rate it on a very specific non-canonical list to the podcast, but it'll be canonical to Ko-fi at the very least. So you can do that if you want to support us with the RTR Club, or just a one-time donation too. You can do whatever you want. Regardless, go over there, Ko-fi.com/rate the record, and hey, help us out. Help us quit our jobs.
Yay! Please, please, please.
I think you want to more than me, but still, yeah.
Please.
But yeah, support the show in any way you can. You could also do that on our social medias. You could do that by checking our website. You could do that by requesting albums. You could do that by joining the album giveaway, which for May 2023, we are giving away a copy of the Arctic Monkeys. Whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not. Brand new vinyl copy. We actually have it. I showed it on last week's show, and it's on our social medias and everything like that, too. Regardless, all of those things can be found at ratetherecord.ca, so make sure you're checking that out, staying in the loop, following us, joining us. Don't stalk us, though. It's all good. Just be friendly about it.
You can stalk me. Just don't stalk me in real life, please. But then again, I never leave my house, so good luck.
You got nothing incriminating on social media after saying that?
I mean, there are things on Facebook which you can't really see if you're not friends with me anyways. When those memories come up, you look at them going, oh my God, I said that? Or why did I share so much? It's far more cringy than it is incriminating. But then again, you can't really learn to be not cringy until you realize what cringe really is. And that is my 10-year-old Facebook posts.
The ones that you frequently share, because I see them when you when you bring them up, I usually end up seeing them. Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, damn, she actually must have liked that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I look at it going, oh my God, this is terrible. Or I want people to see how unfunny I am, but how funny I thought I was.
There you go. But yeah, so support us, do all that kind of stuff, ratetherecord.ca, check it all out, and stalk Savannah because she hasn't done anything incriminating except the OnlyFans thing, but you still haven't found it yet. No one's found it, so technically no crime has been committed. So
if you can find it, it's free.
Not true. It is a paywall. Liar. Anyways, we got to get to talking about stuff today because that's why we're here. Sometimes I wish this was just a rambling podcast because we'd be succeeding greatly right now. But this is a music review podcast. We're not doing well, so better pick up real quick. It's episode 77, and today Savannah has chosen the album for us. And despite the fact that she's picked it, I happen to have it right here behind me, video viewers.
I do not own
double album fucking copy of Paul McCartney and Wings Band on the Run. It's funny because this is literally only one album. It's 9 songs, but the second vinyl is literally nothing but bonus stuff and everything.
Ooh, I like that.
And also I should mention too, I don't want that to fall. There we go. I have to say this stuff out loud so the audio viewers know what the hell I'm doing, or audio listeners, I guess. They're not viewing anything. But I'll mention real quick, we're doing 9 songs in the original UK release. As much as I wish we did Hell on Wheels, it's not technically a real release thing. It's that came with the US version, later versions, but the original UK release didn't have it. It was a separate single, so only 9 songs in this one.
Because I am a robot on autopilot, I did write that into the band artist intro, and I will be repeating that again for anyone who missed it this time. Fantastic.
And I've kind of figured you would too, but at the same time, I just went ahead and said it anyways. But anyways, if you're new to the show here, then, first off, hello, welcome to the show. But I also want to welcome back those who have been here before. You know what we do. You know that we ramble way too much, but yet you're still here. Thank you very much, by the way. But if you are new here, yes, as I said, welcome. We are glad to have you here. We do review music eventually. But first, I'll tell you what we do on the show because chances are you don't know. So each week, Savannah and I will choose an album, be completely at random. She randomly chose this one this week. So, hey, that's just a choice you could do. We also do anniversary albums, 20, 30, 40 years, whatever. We'll take a look at it as long as it's significant. And of course, requests. We have plenty of those. We did one of those last week too, the last one of season 4, and we have more coming for season 5. Regardless, we do choose an album. We just discuss the entire thing front to back at length. We rank the songs, and then you can't say it because you said it earlier, rank the record, rate the record. There you go. Shut up.
Maybe if you could get it right, I would.
Because I was thinking about the little stunt you pulled last week when you literally said rank the records, and that's why I don't know. Fuck it. We rate the record.
Walk your way out of this one.
I can do whatever I want. I'm the host. I'm also the editor, so I could have just cut out that whole part and made it sound correct.
God damn it.
Every time I said I'll cut something out, I never do.
Yeah, hell no.
All right, well, we should probably get on with this review since, we have a whole album to discuss, your 9 whole songs. So Savannah's going to go ahead and tell us a little bit about Paul McCartney, whoever this guy is, and his band, The Wings.
Paul McCartney was a member of the Beatles. If you do not know the Beatles, you are too young to listen to this podcast.
Go to bed.
Yes. Also, I will not be speaking about his time with the Beatles. That is unnecessary when it comes to this. So we are jumping straight to, after contention with other members about a myriad of issues, McCartney left the Beatles in 1970 and filed a suit for the band's formal dissolution on December 31st, 1970.
I nearly had a panic attack because I thought you said the Buggles. I was like, we're not talking about them again.
Imagine that. Well, good thing they only released one album. But we could do the Yes album that he was featured on. So we'll see. Paul McCartney's first album, McCartney, was released in 1970 after a period of depression following the Beatles' breakup. In 1971, the band Wings was formed with Linda McCartney and drummer Denny Sewell, after collaborating with them for his second album, Ram, also released in 1971. Wings played together until 1981 and released 7 full-length albums. The album we're talking about today was the third album released as Wings, the 5th album Paul McCartney released after leaving the Beatles, and the second album Wings released in 1973. Band on the Run was released on December 5th, 1973, and was recorded in London, England, and Lagos, Nigeria. It was produced by Paul McCartney and released 3 singles: Jet, Band on the Run, and Helen Wheels. Helen Wheels, like Kris said, was later added to the album for the North American release, but we're reviewing the original release as it was intended the first day it was brought into the world.
Heck yeah.
Band on the Run was nominated for Album of the Year and won Best Engineered Non-Classical Album at the 1975 Grammys.
What a strange category.
Very much so. In 2012, the album won another Grammy for Best Historical Album.
Historical?
Apparently, yeah. In 2012, it would have been, 30 years? 31 years. 30, like 29. I'm not sure. 29 maybe. Can't do math. During its original release, the album hit number 1 in the United States, UK, Spain, Norway, Canada, and Australia. It is certified 3 times platinum in the US and the UK, but the threshold for platinum status is different in both countries.
Platinum's still platinum.
Reviews for the album are mostly favorable, with Rolling Stone giving it a 5 out of 5, and our friends at AllMusic gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Yes, that relationship's on the mend right now.
Yeah, it's the better they are, the better we are to them. In the year 2000, Q Magazine placed Band on the Run at number 75 on its list of the 100 greatest British albums ever. In 2012, the album was voted 418th on Rolling Stone's revised list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. So it's not super high on the list, but it's on the list.
I'll say I'm impressed by Rolling Stone, considering that they took a Beatle and didn't put him super duper high on the list.
Right,
holy shit.
Right, yeah.
I expected at least top 50 for a Paul McCartney album.
Ringo Starr, number 3.
Oh my god. Good for him. Yeah, this is a strange one. I can't say anything about that yet because we haven't even gotten to the album. But I own the damn thing.
Yeah.
So I like it to an extent.
Oh,
what the hell does that mean? Well, I guess we're gonna have to find out, huh?
Yeah, I'm a little curious and scared.
Well, I'll explain what I mean at the end if I remember to explain it. If not, then that's gonna be left vague forever. But I think you'll get it through my review, though.
Excellent.
Speaking of review, I guess it's time to do that. So let's jump into the album. Song number 1, the title track itself, Band on the Run.
You first, please.
Yeah, it's your album, isn't it? And I know the rules.
Sucker.
Okay, I have to have an overall note to start this particular song, though, because this one's like 3 in 1. Although, if you want to do the math on it, I'm pretty sure it's like 60% Band on the Run and like divide up the other portions that are very tiny and minuscule at the beginning of the song. Anyways, I'm not a fan of all 3 style clashes. I get that Paul was likely going for emphasis on different parts of the story of the song because the song is about the band on the run. The first part feels like it's like about jail, and then talk about like, hey, I'm gonna get out of here. And the third part, they got out and everyone's looking for them. So that's the story I get from it, at least. By the way, we don't do lyrical analysis, but like, it's Paul McCartney. He doesn't write complex lyrics.
Yeah.
But my problem is the 3 sections that are in the song do not transition well at all. It is some of the worst transitioning in any album I've ever heard. And that's saying a lot considering I've heard some bullshit in my time. I mean, it feels like poorly planned, poorly executed, but like, I will say each section sounds fine on its own though.
I do note that even as a kid, I found it kind of strange because like you'd listen to, 3-minute pop songs, whatever's on the radio. As a kid, you just listen to whatever's played for you. But I always thought that it was weird that this song was in multiple parts because it was one of the first, if not the first song that I remember hearing that was like that, let alone one of the first songs I ever remember hearing, period, in my entire life.
That would sound like a fitting statement. Like, not even just talking about our age, but I mean, like, this album and song, the song itself is like still really popular to this day. So I mean, like, I can imagine one of the earliest songs you remember is likely this one. Like, I know I heard this when I was super young. It's not the first I heard, but it was definitely like up there, probably.
I think there are 3 songs that I specifically remember when I'm not sure if my brother was born yet. So that means I was either 3.5 or 4 years old or so. So it was Band on the Run, Do It Again by Steely Dan, and 2112, like the song by Rush.
I remember 20-minute or thing?
Well, pretty much just the beginning where it's like doing all that, like, I don't know how to
the intro, the overture portion.
Yeah,
like,
that.
Before Temples of Syrinx.
Well, both of those. The one that they play live. So it's the overture and Temples of Syrinx.
Yeah, it's like 6 minutes right there.
Yeah.
That's those are the first. Lucky. I didn't hear that the very first time I remember music.
Well, I was born to a father that had Rush as their favorite band, and now look at me.
So I actually have 3 more notes, and they're each about each part of the song, like each different section. So they're pretty short. The first part is a nice, calm start to the album. Kind of feels like tropical in a way and everything like that. It has like a nice, soft and flowy, reflective type of feeling. The second part's probably my least favorite. Like, I like the instrumentals, but like, I know there's all of like 5 lines sung at this entire portion. It's incredibly short and feels like a very poor transition. Again, there you go. I use that. The third part feels like the actual song though, because it's also the longest. It's like 2.5 minutes. The song is 5 minutes and 12 seconds, and this is like 2.5 minutes. So this third of the song, if you even want to measure it that way, takes up the most of the song, and this is what the song actually is. I actually like this though, this because again, I feel like this is the actual main part of the song. It's got a good, fun pacing to it, great acoustic work, and it's far catchier than any of the other parts previously because obviously it has the refrain in it too, so that's why.
Okay, excuse me. I may sort of repeat things that I've said in that whole banter of Rush flags and such. So I do like that this song is the first on the album. Not only is it the title track, it's kind of an introduction before they really pull the curtain on the rest of the album. It's like, hey, Band on the Run, haha, look at this. And then I kind of imagine this song like a play, like a stage play, where it's like different parts, different scenes, whatever. But the whole album kind of makes me feel like that, where this song is where the curtains are closed, like someone comes, gives a monologue, then the curtains are open, then the rest of the album sort of plays through and all that stuff. But like I said, this song is one of the first songs I remember ever hearing. It is a warm blanket that makes me feel safe. And that's before breaking down any of the parts, the musicality, the lyrics, anything like that. The tone is just so warm that it's just like, it makes me feel so good. And that's why I always sort of talk about and rave about the analog sound, because it is so warm and crackly and just, it is beautiful. And I love it so much. And I find this is one of the songs that I whistle long after it's over.
the only part of the song I've ever come back to, it's usually in a joking way, and like it's like one of the first lines when I think it's in the way that he sings it too. It's very like nasally. It's like stuck inside forever.
Yeah.
And like I will sing that and nothing else just because like it's like a fucking stim or something. Like I'll say that out of nowhere because it's funny in my head.
Oh yeah, I'll whistle the guitar line, so I definitely understand that. But that nasally,
which one? There's like fucking tons of them because it's 3 different songs.
Like
the first part.
Sometimes it's the beginning where it's just like I can't even do it. I can't because you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it in audio. It's just gonna sound like. They're gonna be like, "Bitch, can't whistle."
I remember that
all.
part where the album just gave out.
Any memorable guitar line, I will whistle. But your nasally Paul McCartney voice reminds me of his Christmas offering.
We don't talk about that. We don't ever discuss that under any fucking context.
Song.
I will end this call immediately. This episode will not go out. We are done talking about fucking wonderful ass Christmas time.
I like that song.
That
and
ruins Christmas.
David Bowie and Bing Crosby.
I can deal with them doing Little Drummer Boy. That's fine.
Yeah.
But Wonderful Christmas Time is actually universally said to be one of the worst Christmas songs of all time. And I couldn't agree more. Whoever came up with that theory first, I will suck their dick because they're so right about it. Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
I like that song.
I bet you do. Well,
that's what makes our dynamic so contentious.
I'm willing to suck a dick for someone who hates a song, and you're just like, I like this. That's our fucking dynamic. That's how this works. Just before we move on, though, because I mean, like, again, still talk about Band on the Run. I want to talk about the album cover real quick since we're on the title track. This thing has always bothered me. Like, listen, I get the concept behind it. By the way, audio listeners, I know I'm going to try to describe it best I can, but you can just Google a picture and follow along or something along the lines of that, or maybe you know what it looks like. Yeah. So I'm showing it off to the camera right now. I mean, you can see Paul McCartney there. That's just keeping that in mind. I'm assuming that's Linda, but I can't even be certain. But okay. Paul's the only one, and also this dude in the back here, just behind him, peeking his head out, are the only two, like, really giving a shit about this photo opportunity. Yep. Okay, so first off, I want to talk about Mr. Tada over here. Clearly, like, is he 10 feet tall, or is he standing on the only box they found in this alleyway? This is the weirdest fucking thing.
They needed to fill out the spotlight, so they needed him taller.
So he's I love the idea that he's 8 feet tall.
Hello, cab, ignore these peons, come get me.
Also ignore the police chasing us, apparently.
Yeah.
This guy's clearly just trying to leave. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, so he's trying to get the hell out of there.
My rate goes higher if I'm here longer than 2 hours. Can I go, please?
Ignore literally everyone else on this cover. I'm talking about finger guns over here. What the fuck is he doing and why? Like, okay, so like I get it. You're on the run. Ooh, freeze, cops. Like you could this is the dumbest pantomime bullshit you could do. And I hate that it's in the shadow. I just noticed that and I fucking hate that even more.
Okay,
but like this is the dumbest idea. This album cover bothers me.
Okay, but that guy, the guy with the finger guns, he has the guy next to him pulling on his jacket like, no, don't go towards them. So what I think it is I think the guy was selling like counterfeit items through his jacket, right? So when the cops found him, the other guy was like, man, hide your goods, and then pulled his jacket closed. And then the guy was like, why? Because of the cops? And then the cops ended up shooting them all. They're all dead now.
Yeah, because the finger guns couldn't fire back.
Exactly.
You can learn a finger.
That, or the cops were so intimidated, they were like, oh my God, he's got a gun. And then completely just annihilated all 8 of them?
He could have learned a thing or two from an American. Haha, American joke. Sorry, American listeners, but I'm right.
That's really where all that was going, yeah.
But I think the thing I like even more about this /hate is if you look at finger guns, he's the only one smiling. Everyone else looks genuinely concerned, except Baldy over here, who just he's like, when's lunch? When do we get break? But fucking finger guns is actually smiling. He's like barely too. He's kind of he's proud of what he's doing, but only kind of. Okay.
Now I do not, it's not much of a story, but from the brief lines that I read in Wikipedia while writing this band introduction, for this album, for this album, it was Paul McCartney, Linda McCartney, and that drummer Denny guy. There were two Dennys that were in the band. I can't recall what his last name was, but there was literally those three. And I think that's why there's only three on the back.
Denny Lane.
Yeah, who the fuck were the rest of them then? Because the rest of the band, or quote band, had left during the recording of this album. So who the fuck are those
Yeah,
people?
exactly. Mr. 8 Foot Tada,
They're not even in the band.
Christopher Lee, Finger Guns over here, whoever this guy is, like, I think these three here, like Paul, Linda, and Denny Lane, I think that's the only members of the band. And then like all these other people, like Paul's just like, oh shit, why did I join these guys?
Yeah. Like, who the fuck even are they? Only three of them play on the album.
And the weirdest part is if you go through like the inside album art, it's literally pictures of them in Nigeria having fun with like civilians, which is nice and wholesome and stuff like that. So I don't know. Everything about this clashes and it bothers me, especially Finger Guns over here. I'm gonna get this tattooed on me.
I was just waiting for you to close the record and just hurl it across the room. You're like, I'm done with this. No,
except for the part where I don't want to do that.
Fair enough.
I'd be like, fuck that. Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay, we talked about Band on the Run for a while, but I mean, I felt like that was a legitimate thing to talk about while we were talking about the title track.
Yes, I don't have much else to say about this that I'm not going to say in the rest of the album, so I'll save it.
That's fine. So we'll move on to what I think is probably the bigger single on this album for sure, Jet.
Really?
Really? You would disagree?
I don't know. I like the other one better than this one.
Well, your like versus what is possibly the bigger single. I think Jet.
I feel like I hear them both about the same amount. I don't know how it was when they first were released, though. But Jet did come out before Band on the Run as a single, so maybe that's why.
And well, it's funny because like I like this version of Jet, and also to anyone who's part of our Ko-fi RTR club, we did the band The White Swan as an album review on there, and one of their songs, not on that particular album we did, they actually covered Jet. You know what they sound like, so imagine that in that style, but it was Jet.
Interesting.
It's really cool, actually. I really like it. It's super cool. Nice. But anyways, we're talking about Wings' version of Jet, the original here. I thought this was a really good start to the song. I really like it. The slow beats, like great building up to like this feeling of like rising. The instrumentals are really fun, especially with the horns that kind of get thrown in there as well. So super cool to go on that. And like when we go to through the verses too, I really like the low buzzing synth that kind of just drives the entire thing. A lot of energy. I mean, it adds a lot of the energy to the flow of the song. So right off the bat, I'm enjoying this song.
To this day, and I felt like this decades ago, I think the intro horns sound aggressive, and I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's because the song starts out like full force. There's not a amp up to it. It's just, this is it, right? As soon as it starts. So I'm like, okay, like you gotta prime me here. Jeez Louise. I do find the chorus massively fun to sing, though.
Of course.
And I mentioned this later on in the album. I am well aware that it's mostly just the title word in the chorus. I'm well aware, but sometimes it's done okay. Other times it's irritating. So this time it was done okay.
Well, because with this song and even others on this album, when it's just repetition, there's at least things between, like, in this one, they're like, Jet, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like
it breaks it up.
And
right?
even though they say Jet in what I assume is the pre-chorus, like, I thought the major was a lady, like, whatever. Like, it still kind of feels different each time. So like you can still like appreciate it at the very least. So it's not just like Buggles, like here's the same line 5 times in a row.
Yeah, Kid Dynamo, Kid Dynamo, Kid Dynamo, Kid Dynamo. I fucking get it.
That's the one I like the most. You're not allowed to pick on that one. You can literally pick any other song, including Video Killed the Radio Star, but you pick the one I like the most. Thanks, I get it. I get the message loud and clear. All right, let's see what else I got about the song, because we got to keep talking about Wings over here.
Yes.
And like your name implies, not the show, just the band. The chorus kind of works actually as both the chorus and the verse, because I know after what I assume is the pre-chorus and they just say Jet and then they do the ooh section, it's like it sounds like the verse. it blends in almost completely, but I will say there's a discernible pre-chorus. Obviously, it's a great middle ground. But the thing is, it's still just so fun all the way through, and the song's not super long. It's 4 minutes and 9 seconds, so it's doesn't really catch you off guard. It's just something that you have fun with all the way through, and I kind of like that. What else have I got? I got one more now. I just wanted to make sure I was reading everything properly here.
Brain fart.
As if that doesn't happen weekly.
Never.
But yeah, the pre-chorus is a great middle ground because like it just slows down enough to be a quick breath before like kind of launching back out. So I guess that's what makes the verses and choruses more tolerable, even though they sound the same. It's because there's always something dividing them at the very least. So I like that. And overall, this song is just, it's super fun. It's simple, super catchy, as you kind of alluded to already. So I really like this one. I always have. I've always had a soft spot for Jet. Actually, that's the song that probably made me buy this vinyl in the first place. Just saying.
Really?
Not the only song, but probably one of the main ones.
Interesting. So I only have a couple questions, couple observations. Now I found for a couple of these songs on this album is the same thing, but I'll just mention it as they come up. But this was the first one that I don't know if it was just me, but I had to turn this one down in my earbuds because the treble was just going to fucking kill me. It was very loud when I was trying to really get into sort of those background or the sort of the lower tones that I could hear. And then it just kind of, I don't know, the treble was very loud in my ears. Is Paul McCartney a prog king?
No.
Because some of these songs, and you had mentioned on Band on the Run, that it's in like couple little segments that they don't really mesh well and stuff. And I kind of feel like he's trying to do sort of the first one that I heard that was like that was Hard Day's Night, where it's kind of was it Hard Day's Night? Or what was that one where he drags the comb across his head and he's like getting ready for the day? That. Because that has like more than one part, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that was because that was like an indecision between like Lennon and McCartney about how they wanted the song to go, so they just threw in both.
So I feel like he's doing that on his own now.
Which is weirder
bits.
Because I mean, like, it's one thing if you're combining with another songwriter and you have two styles that clash, it can be interesting. Like A Day in the Life is a great song. It's amazing.
Yeah. I like it.
But like when you're doing that on your own, it's just like, man, don't get too fucking weird about it. Come on now.
And I feel like he was kind of going down that vein. Like, to be honest, I haven't listened to any of Paul McCartney's solo records or Wings albums that came before this. So I'm not sure if this was a decision now or if it was just a long-standing thing that he's been doing. This is just the first time I've heard it. But it does feel like some of these songs don't have like a typical layout, or they sort of have multiple parts, and which kind of leads me to think that, or leads me to imagine it like a stage play kind of thing, part one, part two, whatever. Now, this one I've always kind of wondered, and I only Googled while doing this review. So this song mentions suffragette.
Yes.
No idea what that means or meant. And David Bowie's Suffragette City. I'm like, I don't understand. Well, apparently it means a woman.
I was going to say, you've never heard of a suffragette, though? Like the
I
movement?
do not. I had no idea what that was. I had to Google it.
I'm the man here. You're the woman. And I'm surprised you haven't heard of suffragette. They're the reason why you can vote right now. Just say that much.
Yeah, well, give me better options and I might.
Fair. Absolutely fair.
But it's a woman seeking the right to vote through organized protest. Didn't know that, so I learned something new.
Do you want to hear another interesting fact on that about this song too?
Yes.
I couldn't find the article, but I know this exists. Paul McCartney was interviewed as to why he brought that up in the song, because it seems really irrelevant, to just kind of throw it up out of nowhere. He claims to have just made the word up, and I'm just like, there is no way in shit you just made that up. Like that. Not only is that such a weird word to just suddenly come up with and on the spot, but I mean, like, it was an important movement in women's history, which apparently you don't know. But still, the idea is like, I don't know. I feel like someone like Paul McCartney would know that. So why say you made it up?
He's a fucking liar because Suffragette City by David Bowie came out a year before this album did.
Who knows that he knows anything about that song? I don't even know.
They're both English and it's a small country. They should all know each other.
Except for the part where they're both all over the world, and apparently Paul McCartney was in Nigeria at this point. So I mean, like, I don't know.
Paul McCartney is a liar. You know what? If he wants to refute it, he can come to my house.
You're right. He did abuse Heather Mills. I'm going to get sued for saying that. I don't mean that. Hey, she was claiming that, and she's a fucking liar. Okay.
Well, she was also 26, 25 years younger than him. They got married when she was my age, our age.
Yeah, and she was trying to hunt down his money by being a complete prick.
I would never marry my grandfather. What is this?
Some people really love their grandfather.
Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay.
Okay, I think we can move on.
Yeah, we're done. We're done
talking about Jet and Heather Mills and all that stuff. God damn it. There's a lot of people who don't like Heather Mills, so a lot of people appreciate what I just said anyway.
Yeah.
Anyways.
She got a leg up on the rest.
Yeah, that's why she only has one leg to hop on. Fucking peg leg ass pirate. I think I said that last week when we were off the episode. I was making a bunch of peg leg pirate jokes.
Yes.
Because I didn't want to give it away in the episode. Anyways, you know who's not a bluebird is Heather Mills. So song number 3, Bluebird.
I do want to say before you start, I was expecting Blackbird, but apparently they're not the same song.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. No, it's definitely a Beatles track.
I heard this.
To be fair, it is written by McCartney.
I heard this and I was like, I don't know this song. I'm like, I thought I knew this one. Apparently not. No,
yeah, two different birds, 2 different songs, 2 different bands, technically.
Yes.
But written by the same guy, so that's the only thing that connects us at one point or another. So I don't want to completely spoil it, but I feel like I'm about to spoil things here.
Yeah,
I'm not huge on this song, and that's me putting it very politely. First off, this follows the energy behind Jet. I'm like, okay, this great job. I mean, good choice on album placement, I suppose. If you really want me to say something nice, although I don't mean that in the slightest.
I'm only going to interject when you say something that I already have. Jesus Christ, could they have pulled the brakes anymore? So I agree.
Do you have anything to say about the lyrics by chance?
I do not. Please.
Okay, which is funny because with you and repetition of the courses, I thought you would have. So this one's going to be a little lengthy, but I had to do this. I haven't done anything like this since Hedgehog Facts, but the idea is, though, this is relevant to what we're talking about, though. This is relevant to the song, unlike fucking Hedgehog Facts.
Oh, Lord. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, people go watch Brooks and Dunn. That was a weird but funny episode. So lyrically, this song feels very uninspired to me, like super uninspired. And every time I've heard the song, I own the vinyl. I've heard it more than once. I know what the fuck this song is.
Yeah.
But every time I've heard it, it's just like, I don't know. It feels like he didn't even try with the lyrics, and I don't know how much of a hand Linda had in it.
Yeah.
Because I know that sometimes he shared the writing duties with her, but like, this feels like crap. Like, and so I did some math because I was like, he sure says Bluebird a lot in this song, and there's websites that show this too. I wish I wrote down the website so I can call it out. Maybe I'll do it in the description if I remember to. But regardless, I did some math on how many times the word Bluebird appears in this song. So Bluebird, as one word, takes up 36% of all words in the song. That's 47 instances out of 229. But here's some more stats for you. The second most prominent word is yeah, with 18 instances. That's 14% of the song. Then the words ah and ha both have 9 instances, putting them both at 7%. That's your song. Like, just filler terms in the same fucking refrain take up the entire song.
I am ashamed that I did not notice that or care to put that much arithmetic work into proving a point.
Oh, I really wanted to because it was bothering me that much. I was about to do the math myself. I was literally gonna type out the lyrics, look at them all, and separate them. And then I found a website that does that for me. I'm like, perfect, thank you.
Really? Interesting. Ooh. It was written by both of them, by the way.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know if that's a gift or a curse at this point.
Every song on the album was written by Paul and Linda, except for No Words, which is on side 2, was Paul McCartney and Denny Lane. That's it.
Alrighty then. Well,
So your hunch was correct.
I got more to say, but I just said a lot, so please take over for a minute while my mouth gets saliva back in it.
Okay. So I just coming off of Jet, I felt pleased that I wasn't being orally ambushed. It was a little quieter, a little slower. Again, they definitely pulled the brakes after Jet. I feel like with the song, there's not much happening. It feels like a palate cleanser. I didn't mind the saxophone because it does add another layer of interest, but it didn't last and it felt like it lacked enthusiasm. Even slow enthusiasm, it just kind of felt like they were like, oh, here's our 8 notes, meh, and then we're done. It was okay. And that's literally all I had.
Well, first off, it's funny how I didn't notice the saxophone in this one, only because I made a note about the saxophone later in the album.
Maybe so did I.
I think it's like a couple songs away at the very least. Yeah. I don't remember, but I said that there's actually a lot about the instrumentals that I actually don't really like about this song. Like it goes a little too smooth, and especially coming off the energy of Jet, like there are like quieter songs on this album that could have fit so much better in this place, but like this one just brought it down way too fucking much. I will say it's nice and relaxing, but this one like pulls back pretty hard and it doesn't really feel all that good in the process. So overall, I mean, I've probably spoiled my placement on the list for that. That's fine. That's fine. I like when stuff like this happens. So my final note is I don't like it. So if you'll excuse me, I'm going to drink from my comedically large box of vodka iced tea now while Savannah finishes up.
I'm actually finished. So we're all just going to stare at you drink from your comically large box of iced tea.
Wait, I'm going to take one more mouthful then.
Good job. Good job. I do have to sing the praises of boxed wine. While he's doing that. Boxed wine is not a representation of how poor or how trashy you are. It really is a representation of how efficient and how smart you are, because you can tote that shit anywhere. Also, they sell little like tote bags that you can put a box thing in, and it has a little flap that you can stick the little nozzle through, and then all you have to do is press the button out of your tote bag and fill the cup.
Hell yeah, a little nozzle here?
Yeah, it's fantastic. But then put that in a bag and then lift a little Velcro flap to get the nozzle out. Fantastic. Just fantastic.
I could have gotten a glass for that, but I thought for better comedic effect, I was just going to lift the box up and everything like that. But yeah, I've had great bottled wine that I've also found in box form, and I'm just like,
and you get more?
Cool. It's like it's fine this way. It's got a little nozzle I can deal with. Like, it doesn't make you trashy at all. I say as I literally lift over my head and fucking press a button to feed myself.
Yeah, and for me, I like getting box wine because it prevents my neighbors from going through my recycling on garbage day to take my wine bottles, because I don't drink enough for it to be worth to return them. So I just recycle them.
We collect our cans and bottles here, specifically alcohol, and we return to the beer store. We get money back for it. We get cheap beer.
Yes.
Not like cheap made beer, but we get beer for cheap because we get like essentially a discount from all the empties we have.
I drink 2 beers a week and that's it. So it ain't worth it for me.
So you'll get cheap beer like a year from now.
Yes. And the only time I drink is when we do this.
Well, I could have.
You're welcome, everybody.
I could have polished that whole box of delicious vodka iced tea on that song alone, but I had many more songs to go. So let's do it. Number 4, Mrs. Vanderbilt. I want to say Vanderbilt, but it's Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt. There are so many sounds here that I love, although I'm not sure how I feel about the saxophone on this one.
Wait. Yes, I also mentioned the saxophone, but this was the one I was talking about.
Excellent.
So I guess I'll interject right there and just jump to that note immediately.
Yeah.
So anyone who's heard this show in the past, we've mentioned horn sections before. Savannah's more likely to like them than me, although we tend to like differentiate on which ones we like somehow. I don't know how
and sometimes you think I'm gonna like it and I hate it, and
Bungle
you're caught off guard.
Was the one that surprised me the most because it's like, this is perfect, and then it wasn't perfect.
Yeah, but if I listen to it now, I'm like, I accept it. I will take this now.
Well, if you're listening to it casually, I think you're going to be much more appreciative than critically.
Yeah.
So if you know me, I rarely give like the sax solo a hall pass for bands on this show.
Oh, yeah.
This one doesn't get it either. I had to leave you in suspense there for a minute, but no, I just, I don't know. There's nothing will ever touch, what is it? Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty. That is the perfect use of a sax solo ever. Not even fucking Careless Whisper touches that. Not even close. So if you're not Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty, then don't do sax solos. Not even Kenny G, not that fucking big oily sexy saxophone guy that plays at fucking cons or whatever.
What about what You Can Call Me Al or whatever by Paul Simon?
No.
Not even that one, eh?
Barely Paul Simon at that point, but no. And by barely Paul Simon, I mean I barely care for him. I'm like Simon Garfunkel maybe, but Paul Simon, his solo shit sucks. Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes, I don't give a shit. I really don't. I've tried. I actually tried.
I haven't listened to any of that. So
good, you're not missing much.
Where I feel like we're missing an opportunity to review a Paul Simon album. I will
just
get
do
on
Simon Garfunkel. I'll feel better about it.
I will get on that. Thank you.
I feel so much better about Simon Garfunkel. Go ahead, say more. I talked about the saxophone.
So this one felt a little okay. You know what? Just going right with the saxophone. I'm just going to jump right to the end of the notes here. The keyboards sound nice and pleasant, but the saxophone comes out of nowhere. And for what? 10 notes? And I bet some are repeated. So sorry, you do not meet the word count requirements. It is a decent song. It's fine. It's just there. I like the acoustic guitar being on one side and the bass on the other. It adds texture. I like that. There is a song coming up that does the whole left-right side thing, and I fucking hate it. But this one's fine. Felt a little long, and I did hear a bunch of lyrics. They're so obvious. You're right. What is the use of worrying? What's the use of hurrying? What's the use of anything? Life is weird, and if I go further, I'll fall into an existential spiral.
We're millennials. This is just everyday life for us now.
Holy shit. And as soon as I heard what's the point of, or what's the use of anything, I'm like, okay, you have my attention.
Well, because it starts out like in a fairly positive sense saying, what's the use of worrying? It's like, he's right. Because I mean, like, what's that going to do besides just like take up time of my day? What's the worst use of hurrying? Okay, yeah, like, because
lime in the coconut.
We have
island vibes.
Drake ass YOLO, I guess. I mean, you have one life to live, so why not just take your time? What's the use of anything? That's a great question.
Yeah, right?
I don't have a proper answer to that one, so I'm just going to keep listening.
Yeah, and I hear that, I'm just like, oh, you mean what's the use of listening to the song? Next.
Ooh, ouch.
You get the red buzzer.
It's not even Bluebird. You can't treat it like that.
Yeah, it's not bad. I actually liked the song. It was fine. It was upbeat and boppy.
Yeah, it is. And I just like how you mentioned, like, you don't meet like the word count thing. And I just did a whole fucking bit about the word count in Bluebird. You're one song off of my note, but it's okay. I'll take that. I'll accept it. But yeah, I do agree. This is like a fun pickup coming off of that previous track. I have in quotations on my notes, by the way.
Yes.
It's much appreciated to have this. The bass has a lot of presence in the song too. I do like the stereo thing as you were mentioning, because one's not too overwhelming over the other. But I will say about the bass though, it's too bad the tone is like a bit muddy. It would have like sounded better with a little bit more of like a mid and high range to it.
Yeah.
Not that it's awful, but just I don't know. I kind of wish there was like maybe it would have been too much in the ears because you have the acoustic pretty sharp in one.
Yeah.
Muddy in the other. I don't know. I would like to hear an example of it so that way I could have a better opinion. But as it stands right now, if it could have been mixed a little better, that would have been great. Other than that, it still sounds fine. I'm not going to, it didn't deduct points for it.
Yeah, me neither.
And yeah, it's just great pacing overall. And the acoustic is actually a really nice touch. It's like, there's quite a few instances, there you go, of acoustic guitar on the album. Some stand out more than others, but this is one of the standout ones to me.
The laughter at the end of the song sounds like a flock of murderous birds. I didn't want to let that go without saying that. So
yeah, that's the sound of the fucking seagulls taking my fries at Hutch's and fucking send me into a panic attack where I have to dive underwater.
Yeah, fuck birds. Birds suck. Birds and mice. Fuck all of you.
That didn't happen to me, but I did watch it happen to someone.
That's funny.
It is because like this person wasn't harmed, okay? Like so extremely quick story time. So we have a beachside restaurant here in Hamilton called Hutch's, and I'm not gonna lie, it fucking sucks, but people love it. I hate Hutch's.
Never been.
It's overrated, overhyped, expensive, and just shitty. Anyway, everything's greasy, including the ice cream.
I don't like ice cream.
There's like some kid. When I say kid, he's like 14. He looked 14. I'm guessing. It looked that age. He's sitting there with like this large thing of fries, and he's like picking at them. And when, like the seagulls kind of start like hovering around him, like, oh man, of course these fucking scavengers. Then they start dive bombing his fries, and he starts like panicking, like starting to swat them. He's like, the best part was while he's trying to swat them, he's grabbing small handfuls and shoving them into his mouth,
trying to get rid of them.
But then at one point, I think one of the seagulls might have actually hit him in the head, so he drops the fries and runs to the water. So they don't even follow him; they just go right to the fries. And he dives into the fucking lake.
Oh my God. That is hilarious too. Much better that they were young because, well, it would be funny if it happened to like a 60-year-old too.
I thought you were saying 6-year-old. I was going to say I agree.
Oh God, no. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Anyone young and anyone old that would like be really irritated about it. But you know, those old endearing like 70, 80-year-olds that will feed the birds and they have some sort of weird kinship friendship.
Yeah.
No, I don't want anything to happen to them. They're delicate souls.
It wouldn't because the birds understand them.
Yeah. But the people are like, go away, go. I'm like, yeah, peck him, peck his forehead.
You ever see that video online of that kid being like riding a scooter really fast down the street, being chased and dive bombed by a bird? He's just screaming and crying. Like he doesn't really get hurt. He's wearing a helmet too, I think. But like he's screaming, crying, like ducking down the scooter, like, and this camera guy just recording him go down the street while this bird's chasing and dive bombing this kid. It's one of my favorite videos.
No, I have not. Oh my Lord.
I either just made a bunch of people love me or hate me just by saying that alone.
Jesus
Fuck my reviews. How do you feel about kids? I got some bad news for you, friend. You wonder why I plan on never being a dad. This is reason number 1 through 8.
Just don't fall in love with anyone who already has kids.
Sorry, Cody.
It's okay, he doesn't listen to this anyways. He listens to me from the other room. That's it.
It's okay. Allison only listens to the one that she's ever requested.
Excellent.
She will likely not listen to this one either. Supportive partners, eh? Anyways, let's move on to song number 5. Let Me Roll It.
I thought this song was about drugs.
I thought this was about rolling a tire down a hill.
I've always thought this song was about drugs, and I saw the Grapes of Wrath play this song live. And still thought it was about drugs.
Can I ask what you thought about the song was about drugs?
I thought it was about rolling a joint because Paul McCartney is like, he was a, weed smoker.
I can't tell you how I feel. My heart is like a wheel. Let me roll it. Let me
because
roll it.
I had never
let me roll it to you, as in let me roll my heart to you.
Yes.
It's a love song.
Yes. But I do want to say that at the end of this, I rated it a 10 out of 10 misleading.
Since when do you give misleading scores?
Okay, I had never heard this song. I only heard the Grapes of Wrath play the song live. And when you're front row at a small venue, it's like you can't hear anything. So I didn't know what the lyrics were until hearing it. And I was like, oh, this isn't even close to what I thought the song was about. I just thought it was about drugs.
I just like how you mentioned being like front row and you can't hear anything. That just reminds me of seeing the Dillinger Escape Plan, being pretty close to the front. All I could hear was the kick of the bass drum, and I couldn't hear anything else. But like I knew where they were in songs because I knew what songs they were playing. But still, like it's just like that's all I hear. I'm like, fucking what? And then suddenly Ben, the guitarist, dives into the crowd and starts wailing his guitar around. I'm just like, well, this is scary.
This is how it ends, isn't it?
Hey, I got missile dropkicked by Greg Puciato that night, the lead singer, okay? And he was a 200+ pound muscle bound tank, and he missile dropkicked me from the stage. Like I was the target. It was during the song Farewell Mona Lisa. It was scary as shit, and I remember my chest hurt for 2 days after.
My story of seeing Grapes of Wrath was I met the band members after the show, got them to sign my CD. Did they missile dropkick you? They didn't, but it was funny because I was 23 years old when I saw them. And I think it was near or around my birthday. So when I got them to sign my CD or whatever, I'm like, oh, it's my birthday. And the drummer literally looks at the remaining like people that are still at the venue, looks around going, You're definitely the youngest one here. Like, yeah.
That's how I felt.
This was in like 2012.
That's how I felt in 2005 when I went to go see Collective Soul with my mom.
Right? You look around and you're just like, oh God, my cheeks are going to be infinitely pinched.
I was I was old enough to go to the show on my own, but like my parents, they're the reason why I listened to Collective Soul in the first place. So me and my mom went like,
I'm gonna do one of their
yeah, I was 16 when that concert happened, and I just remember looking around. I think the second youngest person looked to be 21. That's about it. Well, let's talk about Let Me Roll It.
Yes.
Because we haven't really truly gotten into this yet.
No, it's just been me, and that's it.
And by the way, if there was a weird cut in there just for everyone on YouTube or even the audio word, it's because we cut out a lot there. That was very much a tangent that'll likely be on Ko-fi. Yeah. That's just what happens here on the show.
All the time.
So sorry if something gets repeated or something. It's just we spent like 10 minutes just talking there. Let Me Roll It by Wings. So I have kind of like one note about this song, and I'm just gonna read it all because it's like kind of two notes in one, I guess, but you'll see, because there's no other way for me to really say this except verbatim. There's a lot I enjoy about this track. The slow but lively pace, the guitar riff is always fun, and the chorus is very catchy and singable, obviously. Let me roll it to ya. That's fine, easy.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this song uses up a lot of its charm pretty quickly. Once you hit the second chorus, nothing changes at all. It constantly loops back on itself. And I mean, if you're really digging the vibe of this song, that's fine. It works fine for you.
Yeah.
And the biggest issue though is having to sit here. Like I can vibe to this song. I don't care. I could just have it on and not think about it. I like this song, but having to sit here critically and write something about it, it gets very stale very, very quickly. And this is nearly 5 minutes long. But with that said, I will say it is still a good song. It's very nice and easygoing. And here you go, Savannah. Here's some acceptable yacht rock.
Yeah, I fucking love yacht rock. It's so
I know you do, idiot.
So there's a playlist that was playing on Spotify, and I was like, oh, this sounds like America. I like this. Apparently, I like the music of the band Bread. So
I know Bread.
Yeah, that's another one to add to the arsenal. Eventually, I'm going to start walking around in pleated pants and collared shirts and like loafers. And just
you're reminding me of watching people come out of the Eagles concert.
Yeah.
I went to go see Health one night, and then fucking the Eagles gave out the same time, and all these dudes and their wives, but the dudes, especially, like the wives were in band shirts, the dudes were in like Hawaiian fucking bowling shirts, the cargo shorts with sandals, and
with no socks.
They were all the same. They were all the fucking same. Fuck you, yacht rock crowd looking motherfuckers.
Yeah, hell yeah. I used to say I used to work downtown Toronto when I lived there, and I would always say that, welcome to Savannah's workplace, where everybody dresses like they're on a boat.
Cool. You worked in a retirement home. I get it.
I did not, but close. But you know what? Whatever. I don't work there anymore. I used to work at a Whole Foods, so that's probably.
I was gonna say the statute of limitations long gone.
Before Amazon bought them, so they were still expensive and niche.
Oh, of course. So. It was like old people hipster.
Yes, exactly. And I met Nelly Furtado. She's a lot shorter than I thought.
Yeah, she's a small little lady.
Yeah, she's like 5'4". I like the bluesy guitar that makes up the whole song. Super cool. It's like this album is classified as like blues or whatever. This is like the first track so far that I really felt it, and I like that.
I wouldn't classify it as blues, but that's just
maybe a couple tracks, but that's really it.
Yeah,
I'd say pop rock, and that would be it. The vocal reverb gets a little annoying by the end, and I do desire some clean sounds. Some research says that this is, quote, tape echo. Don't know what it is, but some of it sounds good, but when it's pretty much the whole song, I'm kind of like, okay, you've kind of tired me out of this already. It's no longer novelty, and I hate that. Is this 3/4 time, or does it just sound like it? Because I tried to look it up and nothing said that it was, but also nothing said it wasn't.
I'm literally just like going through the song in my head right now.
Yeah, it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
It's like got a waltzy feel to it.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure, so I figured.
No,
I'd ask.
I don't think it's 3/4. I think it's still 4/4 with just like a triplet feel though. Like I could be wrong though.
I like it. And my last note, just nothing really interesting develops. It's just a slow tempo blues track, not at all about drugs.
Exactly. I'm glad you came to that conclusion at the end of the song.
Right? Just come full circle.
God, you said something back there I was gonna make a note about. I don't remember. So let's move on then to song number 6, Mamunia. That's what it is. And just
Mama say,
we already did that, and also no, that's not it.
Well, I'm just trying to give you more cards.
No, we've already run out. There's like,
I
mean, depending on how much we had to cut out from our tangents,
yeah,
maybe I have room to add Michael Jackson in there. If not, we did Michael Jackson. Go watch that.
We did Michael Jackson Thriller.
Exactly, like biggest album of all time.
Yes.
So just in case anyone was wondering, Mamunia, I don't know. It's such an easy word to say, and I can't say it properly. Mamunia. But meanwhile, I can say Aberlinkia from fucking Mars Volta. Mamunia is where Paul and Linda were staying while they were in Nigeria, and apparently there was a misconception that it was a hotel or a town or something like that. But it was like it means safe haven in Arabic, and that was the name of the place they stayed while they were in Nigeria.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Just thought I'd throw that in there. I looked it up because it's like, what does that mean? So I just wanted to look into it, and that's what I found.
Yeah. Cool.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's me. Okay.
I just talked. Now it's your turn.
Yeah. I guess that's how a conversation goes. This song is a walk through a meadow just after sunrise. Ignore the dew-soaked shoes. That's all I feel. I feel it's like one of those. I don't know. It's because I'm a morning person, I really like that sort of music that I don't know if I've seen this in TV shows or media or movies or just anything, but I hear something like this and all I imagine is like Cinderella, but like you sit up in bed and the whole room smells like flowers and the sun's shining and the birds are chirping and the grass is lush and green. And you sit up in bed and you have these birds pulling the blankets off you and dressing you and everything is fantastic and wonderful. And that's how I feel after listening to this song.
You say you're a morning person. So how does it feel to work an overnight job?
It's actually really easy because
you're there for the morning, I guess, but then you go immediately to bed.
I get off work at 6:30 in the morning and I'm already dressed. I'm already awake. I can go do what I need to do when things are open. And because earlier this year in 2023, I was working during the day and I found that I wasn't accomplishing as much as I wanted to because I was at work during my most productive times. So by the time I come home from work, like I used to work 6 a.m.
Employers don't hear that.
They know. 6 a.m. to 2:30. Like I'm productive at work, but in my personal life, it just sort of fell out. Like I couldn't juggle everything because later on in the day, I'm tired. I'm like, well, it's 2:30 in the afternoon by the time I get off work. You know, government places are closed in like an hour and a half and I still have to stand in the lineup. Do I really want to be doing that while everyone else is going to do that? I would rather do it when they open. And I find it much more fulfilling to come home, shower, change of clothes, go out and do what I need to do before falling asleep because I do have a more restful sleep knowing that I took care of things beforehand. So that's why I went back to nights. And I don't know if we've made mention of it before, but when we started this podcast a long time ago, I was working nights and I was going to say you went back to nights.
You went through 2 different shift changes and probably a couple different jobs since we've started this podcast.
Three different jobs. The job that I had when we started the podcast is the job I have now. I did go back. I did not grovel, but I did go back.
And when we started this podcast, I was unemployed, but now I have like a career position.
Yeah.
So what a change the podcast has been, apparently.
Hell yeah. And
no, the career is not this podcast, sad face.
But it could be if you join the RTR club for $5 a month. on Ko-fi.com/Rate the Record.
Yeah, literally everybody listening to this, that's the only way we're going to accomplish that. And you have to stay like that for a long time because obviously it'd only be a monthly income at that point. So more money, please.
Mama's got to eat, so yes.
Mamunia's got to eat. I don't know.
Damn it, I should have said that.
I thought you were going, when you said mama, I thought like my brain immediately said like, oh, Mamunia's coming. Speaking of which, what else you got to say about the song because we haven't talked about it?
The chorus is the high point. Yes, I know, like I said earlier, I know that they only sing the song title over and over, but I do like the hand drums. I like a lot of the things that are around it. So I find it a little easier to look past because I like the way that it's presented. And I like that the hand drums kind of give me a representation of them recording this in Nigeria. I don't know if that was the point. I do recall reading in Wikipedia that Paul McCartney wanted to record somewhere exotic. So I don't know if Nigeria was just convenient or if that was like a set destination. But having some sort of little Afrobeat sounds in this, I think is perfect. And I liked it. Made me like it a little bit more. Maybe
he wanted to record in Bangladesh, but then George Harrison went there first. He's like, oh, fuck, I can't do that now.
George Harrison is so good. I'm sorry.
Third favorite Beatle for me.
Yeah? Who's your first? Ringo?
Paul.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, I think he's overall the better writer. John Lennon's a little unhinged. He's also a shitty human being. Or was a shitty human being. Yeah. But there's still aspects of Paul's writing I don't like, but he's still the better writer in my eyes. But like that's a debate that'll never end. You'll never hear like, no, this is why John is, this is why Ringo is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, more about this song though.
Yes.
So yeah, the song is like fairly minimal because obviously there's not a whole lot going on. You got the hand drums. A lot of the songs actually carry through its like vocal layering and harmonies, and so I think that's like one of the better parts of it. It actually does a nice job of creating like those interesting melodies and everything like that, because again, it's very, very minimal. There's not a whole lot going on, although it still feels like there's more going on than Bluebird. So I mean, like there's a bit more to catch on to, I will say that. Yeah. One thing I don't like though is the synth solo at the end, because it just doesn't fit the mood at all, and I don't know why they added it. Just like, what were they thinking?
I love you, Linda, please. Oh, apparently he had taught Linda how to play the keyboards, I think in 1971 before they started Wings. So whatever she's doing keyboard-ish was either directed by Paul, or she is like super novice and just doing the bare minimum. So I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
I don't know if it's even relevant, because it's not so much as the synth solo, it's the more or less the tone of it.
Oh,
because everything is so soft and warm in this song, and then this like kind of harsh buzzing synth kind of blows in, and it's just like it kills the mood a bit. So it's just that, I think that's more or less what I was getting at. Just, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't really like that too much.
There I think it might be the next song where I say the same. Yeah, it might be the next one. I don't know. We'll get to it eventually. I do like the overall vibe of this song, and for some reason, I do think of Paul Simon. It might be the hand drums. I don't know. Quite possibly.
Diamonds on the Shoulders of Her Fucking Shoes.
Yeah, I think I've heard 2 Paul Simon songs maybe in my life.
Call Me Al.
Yeah, that one, and maybe another one that I don't know.
That was a saxophone song too. I know that much.
I know he's married to Edie Brickell. I know nothing else.
I don't even know who that is.
She sang a song I liked. I think she's a one-hit wonder. I'm not sure.
Fantastic. You like a lot of one-hit wonders, don't you?
I do. And then when I hear the whole album, I realize that one-hit wonder was fucking trash. Marcy Playground.
I was going to say.
It's funny because I am going to record that video for Ko-fi, and everyone gets to hear what songs on that album I actually like. Listen to Gone Crazy. Much better. I would put this song on to fall asleep and dream about being a princess running through a wildflower-laden meadow. And that was it. That was like the imagery I got from this song, and I liked it. It was nice.
I didn't really get much imagery from the song, so I can't relate to being a pretty princess in a field.
Yeah, yeah, with a nice little dress. It's very Taylor Swift folklore-y.
Just when you were talking about like Linda and like Paul teaching Linda, because I just thought to myself, like, I imagine maybe she wanted to learn. Maybe he's like, I want an excuse for you to come with me on tour.
More than likely.
And after the trauma he had to suffer at the hands of John and Yoko in the last years of the Beatles there, maybe he wanted to do this properly.
Yeah.
And so I pointed that out because I'm carrying the album again in my hand here. And just at the very bottom, it says, and Paul would like to thank Linda, and Linda would like to thank Paul, and thanks, Denny.
Yep.
What an afterthought.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Paul also said that every love song that he wrote, or like, I guess at the time, well, she was alive because she did pass away in the late 90s, that every love song that he wrote was for her. So clearly that love was there enough to inconvenience any. Fuck, he pulled his own John Lennon in just a less obnoxious way.
Yeah, and didn't make some weird abstract fucking avant-garde album where they just scream into a microphone at 3 a.m.
At least he broke away from the tribe to do something with her and didn't just try and pull her into the group. So
there's an album we should cover. We should do that. I can't remember the name of it, but that John and Two Virgins, I think it's called. But the John and Yoko album where they're both naked on the cover and it's like literally just super experimental, not even really music. Get ready to see John Lennon's Wangus, just saying, if you look it up.
I'll have to, yeah, I'm looking it up now so I can tell you.
You're going to see her boobies and you're also going to see his Wangus.
Ew. Okay, that's definitely not what I thought it was then. John and Yoko album. Let's look that up.
If you see both of them naked.
Double Fantasy, is that one?
No, that's that. They're kissing on the cover of that one. It's a little more wholesome.
Yeah.
And that has one of my least favorite John Lennon songs ever on it, Mind Games. I fucking despise that song.
Interesting.
It's so repetitive and ugly.
All right, well, maybe I'll look this up. Maybe I'll just stop. Who knows?
That's fine, because we got to move on now. Song number 7, No Words, and I will say immediately off the top, words in the song called No Words, automatic 50-point deduction.
Okay.
Not fair. You can't do that, Paul. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's fine. You're one of the most famous people in the world. I like the instrumentals in this one for the most part. The addition of the occasional string section is also really cool, so I like that. Just nice, smooth texture to have in this track. And this is probably the most Beatles-sounding track on a quarter Beatle album.
Oh my God! My first line. So I don't listen to the Beatles aside from known singles or songs I'd hear in my day-to-day, but this sounds like the Beatles.
I was gonna say, I own a few Beatles albums on like vinyls, and like, so I don't claim to be an aficionado at all, but this feels like the most Beatles sounding track on the album.
I 100% agree.
You could take Paul out of the Beatles, but you can't take Beatles out of the Paul.
Right? 100%. Yep. I guess my next note, seeing how you're staring at me intently.
Because I just said things.
Oh my God, I say
conversation,
things all the time.
How funny anyway.
Yeah, no, not anymore. I'm out of here. This definitely seems like psychedelic soft rock. I don't know if that is a genre, but I fucking hope so. The beginning of this song, now I can't even specify what it is or how long it is. There's just certain notes, I'm pretty sure, of keyboard that really, like, it's immediately when the song starts, sounds very psychedelic, and then it kind of gets into sort of that yacht rock, soft rock that I like. Super down. I do have some negatives, but I want to give you a chance to maybe expose some positives first.
Well, the first thing I'll say, you said psychedelic soft rock. Can you imagine Steely Dan covering Echoes by Pink Floyd?
I can't recall Echoes.
It's a 22-minute song. I'll tell you that much.
I would actually.
It is one of the most psychedelic songs Pink Floyd. It's the one that's like supposed to match up with Wizard of Oz, like perfect.
Oh.
No, wait, no, sorry, no, that's a lie. That's a fucking lie. It's Echoes is supposed to match up with Space Odyssey that fucking film by that guy. Fuck, I'm failing everything I'm doing here. Jesus.
Yeah, apparently.
That movie, Space Odyssey 2001, or no, 2001: A Space Odyssey. That's what it is. Yeah. And it's supposed to like line up with when he's like traveling through hyperspace or time or black hole or whatever the fuck's going on at that point.
Interesting.
And Echoes is supposed to line up perfectly with that. Whereas I believe it was Dark Side of the Moon lines up with Wizard of Oz.
Interesting.
But yeah, anyways, that joke's funnier in my head and to anyone who's heard both of those things, Steely Dan and Echoes. But yeah, so I said I like the instrumentals and everything like that.
Yeah.
I also like the work with the guitar solo too, going towards the end, but of course it happens as the song fades out. So one of the more interesting parts of the song to me just disappears. So I mean, yeah, I know that songs of this era had a very bad tendency, although they probably didn't know it at the time, about just fading songs out. Like no one knew how to end songs back then, apparently. I mean, granted, the album has songs that end on it, but like, I don't know. I sometimes I get the idea of fading out. Like if you're just repeating something and it fades out, I understand. Like I've done that in my own music, and that there's a reason behind it. Like it just makes sense to do that.
Yeah.
But when you just start something new and immediately say "fuck it," that's where, and I can tell by your glowing red face that you agree with that. So I'm glad I'm not alone.
Okay, so I was going to read my notes up until this one, but I'm just going to jump this one in. Okay, I'm going to move away from the microphone because I did write this in all caps.
Yell it out.
Also, stop fading the song when something new is happening. I fucking hate that.
That's happened more than once on this show.
Yes, and I am kicking things over with my gusto and anger. There is one song in particular, and this is by Asia, and I forget what it's called.
Stop bringing them up. We're not listening.
I'm gonna put this fucking album on it. Also, didn't know they were super groups. Pretty cool. But I have to get to their.
No, you don't. You can just keep going about this song. I don't want to cut more out. Please don't give me more work.
No. We don't have to. I just want to figure out what the song, but it doesn't matter what the song is. I always bring it up, and they sing a new verse and then fucking fade the song, and it makes me livid every single time I hear it. Why are we doing that? It makes me so mad. Again, this is the one. I don't know if it's just me or my headphones, but the guitar is so fucking loud. Why? It swallows the rest of the instrument. It swallows the rest of the instruments, but I guess it's normal because it has such a long neck. Now, I don't know. Again, don't know if it's just me or once the electric guitar comes in, it just kind of becomes noise. Then my yelling about the fading of the song. And then circling back to the beginning, the first few bars were very pleasant and I liked it.
Well, there you go. You had some pleasantries at the end there, except for that one yelling match. That was about it.
Yeah, that was it. Done and
done. And also, shortest song on the album, 2 minutes and 35 seconds.
I did not realize how long the songs were on this album.
Like the vast majority of songs are over 4 minutes. This and Bluebird are under 4 minutes.
Dang. This one felt a little long, but probably because I was like, okay, we're done.
That's how I felt about what Mrs. Vanderbilt or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
But it just kept going and going, and there was like a bunch of false starts and stuff like that.
I'm done now. Thank you.
I was gonna say I already said all that stuff anyway, so it's time to move on.
Yes.
Song number 8, Picasso's Last Words, parentheses, drink to me. I will do that with my comedically large box of vodka iced tea.
You know what? Me too, with my Blue Moon. That used to be called Belgian Moon, but apparently not any longer.
Cheers, Paul. Okay, so I want to make sure this is the right song. Because I got like a few notes for this one. Mm-hmm. I don't mind this being a mostly acoustic track. But the sudden drum fills between certain passages, and this is like in the first. So this song, it feels like it's like 1 2 1 2 with its sectioning. So like you have one, you have something different. You have one, it goes back to that one, goes back to the two. So that's kind of what I have in my head here. So this first section, it's fine being mostly acoustic. Weird sudden drum fills, especially in the first portion, felt like an odd choice. It felt like it was just different for the sake of being different rather than creatively. So I don't know. I felt a little strange about that. And it's hard to believe, especially with the first portion of the song at the very least, that I have not heard some dude at a pub on a Thursday night do an acoustic version of this song.
Really?
Because like it's literally like to saying "drink to me," blah blah blah, do whatever, do this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why have I heard like "Wild Horses" by the Rolling Stones at a bar more than this song?
Do you know that was actually Picasso's last words?
Okay, I'm gonna jump ahead because I have a not even a joke about it because I'm not funny. Where the hell is? Okay, there it is. Wait, no, there it's not. I wrote a note about I have too much on my fucking page here. Never mind.
Well, if you close the porn browsers, maybe you'd be able to find what you're looking for.
You're right. Let's see. Zoo file close. That's a dark joke. Okay, so I do have a note about that. Why was that the first thing I said?
I don't know.
I'm glad you knew what that was, though.
Yeah, it's.
Welcome to the club, apparently.
Yeah, fucking welcome to Reddit.
That's a joke, by the way. Everyone listening, that was a joke. Don't take that seriously. Just saying. Funny bits. Anyways, going back to Picasso's last words, literally his last words too. I'll just read this whole note. The song changes up about a quarter of the way through and there was a Jet reprise in there too.
Yes.
So I figured, was that Picasso's last words with just saying Jet over and over again? In that part and also the final quarter of the song, feels like they lost kind of the momentum that I was enjoying, even though it felt softer in the first and third quarters. Yep. I like that better, but the second and fourth kind of killed it for me.
Okay, so I'm just gonna whip right through all of these. The chorus makes me think the right side of the headset doesn't work because it's just a large shaker while most of the song is mixed to the left side. This sounds like an end of record track. Not only does it ring of, yeah, we can skip this, it's the end anyway, but it does have a Jet reprise included. Wasn't sure if I was using the word reprise properly. Very pleased that I was.
Yes.
I know I like songs that really pack a lot into the time they have, but I like when it's cohesive. I don't feel like this is cohesive at all. The R&B soft rock they have going on is pleasant, but doesn't last. What is this ending? Sounds like they're playing a bop it, and I would not listen to this song as a standalone track.
Hey, you're doing that thing that I usually do, where I'll say a note and then you agree with it.
Yeah,
because I have something that kind of mirrors that. Yeah, I don't know. This song was a weird amalgamation of things. The final quarter just changes up again. The song just changes too much and it goes back between that 1 and 2, but it doesn't feel, again, no good transitioning. It doesn't really feel good. This feels so poor and forced. And there was a Mrs. Vanderbilt ending as well.
I missed that while listening to it.
What the hell? You didn't hear it at all?
I didn't. It was only when I was writing the intro to the band
when they were literally going,
and I was,
hey ho, ho, hey ho.
I probably had checked out by then because the Jet, I was like, oh, I like this. And then by the end, I was
earlier.
Like, fuck this. Yeah, I was like, fuck this shit.
But just on top of that, I just say, what the hell is this song?
Right?
This literally sounds like sitting at a pub and you're just singing all these fucking Wings songs that you haven't really like when you're on your 6th pint.
And you are just out there. Yeah.
This is you want to do Jet at karaoke, but you can't even talk properly, let alone actually remember lyrics.
Yeah.
And then you're singing Jet, but you forget it, and so you're just like, oh, hey, oh. And people are just fuck.
Like, Jimmy, that's not even the right song. You're like, yeah, close enough.
And then you go on YouTube, but you don't become viral because those videos don't become viral anymore. Not back in the good old days when you could literally say something and it gets 1 million hits.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We say things wrong all the time. We don't get that many, so I know that's why it doesn't work.
I was going to say, come on, pick apart the stuff I'm saying. And we need the engagement. Come on.
Well, I do that. We need other people to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Final song of the album. Only song number 9, too. So it's one of those 70s albums, so they're much shorter. Song number 9, 1985. What a title.
I enjoy the intro piano riff and the bass combo. I like that.
It's a little bit disco-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, the drums aren't super disco-ish, but just the feel of it has that kind of 70s danceable atmosphere to it. So it's very of its time disco.
I did not think Paul McCartney was singing this. I thought maybe someone else was just, how sometimes they'll have another singer at the last couple songs or something
Denny
like
Lane
that.
Or something.
Yeah. I looked everywhere and everything said that Paul McCartney sang. It sounds great. Did not know that was it. It sounds different because it sounds gravelly, but I like the lyrics or not the lyrics. I like the vocals regardless of who's singing. But the fact that he can completely drop his fucking accent is pretty good because he sounds American.
There are songs that he's done with the Beatles in the past. I think There was a version of I've Got a Feeling, which was on like their last album.
It's not a Black Eyed Peas cover, is it?
No. Yeah, they covered the Black Eyed Peas way back in 1960X, whatever the fuck it was.
I had to clarify for the listeners who might not know.
will.i.am was just like in their subconscious. He didn't exist, but he was there subconsciously. He was like an ethereal being. There was a portion of that song where like you could hear the Scottish coming out in Paul.
Oh yeah?
There's a version of this, not the original, like that one everyone heard. There was a version I heard where like it was maybe another take, and just in the way that he says a feeling I can't hide, but it's just the way he said hide, it had that like Scottish like wilt to it, like feeling I can't hide, like something like that. Like it was interesting. So cool. Yeah, he's good at dropping the accent, but sometimes something pops out and apparently he's Scottish. I don't know.
Weird.
But yeah, this song, good fun pacing, and it adds like a lot of life to the end of the album too, so that's really good. I do like the it only pops up like once, maybe twice if I remember correctly, but like the choir like bridge in the track. It's very brief and acts as a good like temporary rest point. It's not too long, so it doesn't really feel like too abrasive or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then just like my final note has a lot to do with the ending, because like there's like a lot of drama and intensity going into that final portion. Like you have this like heavy bass drum hits, you got this string section that kind of comes in just being layered gradually. Like unfortunately there's not much in the way of a payoff, like because it feels like it's building to something and then just kind of ends, but like that's what it is. I still like the way it sounds though, and I mean then it ends on another reprise, the Band on the Run reprise. It's a good thing they did that because I almost forgot what album this was. Jesus.
Okay, so I only have 5 points. Quick fire. I like this. Minimal processing and effects. Nice heavenly organ. Shaker could be a little quieter, so when they remaster this again, they can work on that. The guitar is so loud again, it drowns out the keyboards almost completely. The horns are used for emphasis, and I like this song. Chaotic ending, but I like that it ends with a glimpse back to the beginning.
See, I'm not too big on that. Like, I don't know why. That like, if you're gonna loop back on yourself, at least make this a concept album where like it makes sense to go back to the beginning. So then you just listen to the story again. If you're gonna do like this. Like, is this us saying see you later to this album? Because I mean, like, that's all I got from it. It's like, oh, it's over. See it, bye. Paul rides off in the sunset.
Yeah, exactly. He rides off in the sunset on a parade float that is playing Band on the Run as it drives off into the sunset. Just the lone float, not the parade, just that one float. And it's only playing Band on the Run.
And it's driving unusually fast, like 90 kilometers an hour. It's just like,
all the flowers and everything are blowing off into the road.
Yeah, like all the streamers are just kind of going off and everything like that. And just like everything's falling off. It just turns into a car by the end of it. That's exactly how that works.
Yes, that is how this album ends. Yes, a busted up old Cadillac driving off into the sun, the Sahara Desert.
Well, with that said, this busted old Cadillac can finally be put to rest because we are at the end of Band on the Run by Paul McCartney and Wings. Just in case you forgot those fellas too. Apparently all of those guys back there on that album cover.
Yes, all 9 of them. One for every song.
This album, as I said, like Paul's my favorite Beatle. I like his writing. Not everything he does is a winner. This album has its moments, but also has its not moments. Let's just say that much.
I have never heard this entire album, as per usual with a lot of the ones that I choose. I've listened to Band on the Run frequently my entire existence, and it gives this title song gives me a lot of personal warmth and nostalgia. The rest of the songs were just a vessel to get Band on the Run into my ears, and I was curious to how they sounded. They were okay.
Well, we're gonna have to find out how okay they really are, because we're kind of moving on to that point. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us for this episode, hanging out, listening to this album if you indeed did. Let us know what you think down in the comments below of wherever you're listening, because there's comment sections everywhere. We are curious. You just listened to us ramble on for actually I don't know how long at this point, because it's so long, but there's a lot I know I cut out of the actual episode, so it's not as long for them.
I told you I don't leave my house, so this is the only human interaction I get a week. I'm so sorry.
Do y'all want to go up to 3-hour episodes? Let us know down in the comments below. Where it's nothing but tangents. It is like 20% review, 80% just whatever.
Yeah, who wants to have a conversation with someone with unmedicated ADHD? Kris doesn't.
I've had to for 77 episodes, so why not? It's just something that I'm used to. It's my everyday life now. Or every week life, because I don't talk
Pops a pill to sleep.
No, that's CBD. But anyways, with that said, it's time to move on to part 2, because you can let us know what you think about the album, but there's more to let us know. Like, where would you rank songs? Where'd you rate records? Well, we'll let you know that right now, because that's what we're gonna do. So above our heads, boom! Graphics have changed. There are names, there are numbers. It's gonna be more names, song names specifically, because it's time for us to rank the songs to clearly not that great at all to pretty damn good.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, cool. I thought you had more to say.
Oh, no, not at all. Normally you go first. So I'm like, okay, tell me what your number 9 was.
Just like, yeah, hell yeah, silence. I thought you had more to say after that.
Absolutely not.
This is the best part about our dynamic. Sometimes it just doesn't work.
If we could finally get a place where we can record in person, I'm sure it would be a little bit easier.
I don't want to get anyone's hopes up for that, because it's just not in the cards. Maybe at one point it will be for a single episode wink, but other than that, it's just logistically impossible.
It is. I live on Mars. All right, what is your number 9?
And I live down in a well. But anyways, yes, so let's get this started, because that's what we kind of have to do now. So is it really surprise song number 9, Bluebird?
Picasso's Last Words, parentheses, drink to me.
I won't, but I will drink to Paul McCartney out of this comedically large box of vodka iced tea. See, every time
that was warm.
Every time drinking is referenced now, I have to take a drink out of that box, and I have to comment on that being a comedically large box of vodka iced tea.
And then every other show is just filled with water. And you're like, I'm just going to reuse this box.
No, I'm going to go ahead and I'm never going to reuse that again. I'm going to recycle that shit. Number 8, Mamunia.
Number 8, No Words.
I have
except for the ones I just said.
Number 7, Picasso's Last Words.
Number 7, Bluebird.
Bluebird. God, why did you like that song?
I didn't like the other 2 worse than that one.
Which is fascinating. Anyways, number 6, Let Me Roll It.
Number 6, Let Me Roll It.
Hey, we had a match.
Yeah. We didn't even say how many we were going to get, so I'm going to take the one
I don't trust anything anymore.
And I'm going to shut the hell up.
If I don't know what else we're going to match in this, if anything at all, I will say, though, that brings us to 91 overall. We have to hit 100 before episode 100. We actually have to do it.
Okay. Well, we definitely have enough time.
Doesn't mean we're going to do it.
True, but maybe if you get your reviews a little better, then it'd be fine.
Says the person with big shit albums. Number 5, Band on the Run. Speaking of albums.
Number 5, Mrs. Vanderbilt.
See, this is why we're not going to get up to 100.
Well, maybe if you liked the songs I liked, it would be better.
Built like a fucking tank. Number 4, No Words.
Number 4, Mamunia.
Mamunia. Number 3, Mrs. Vanderbilt.
Number 3, 1985.
I'm just going to write 1985 because it's shorter.
Yeah, but not the Bowling for Soup song.
Number 2, 1985.
Number 2, Jet.
Fuck off. Number 1, Jet.
Number 1, Band on the Run. I don't know how anyone thought I was going to choose anything else.
And I knew you weren't too.
I
hate that Jet was number 2.
Yeah. Band on the Run is totally my favorite song.
If I ever get out of here, I'm sorry, give it all the way. Like, fuck that. So I'll tell you something right now with that song. Each part of it, as I said, it's like in 3 parts. I literally scored each part individually, then took the average of all 3 and gave me my song score.
Yeah.
So the 3rd part actually got a pretty damn good score, but everything else kind of brought that down, especially that 2nd part. That dragged the score.
I throw a weighted dart at a board, and then whatever it hits, that's what I score it.
That was you with Mars Volta, apparently.
No.
Except, yeah, not weighted, but like you would have had to like whip it at the board. If it just lands in the same place over and over again, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. Bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. It's all good.
Speaking of the Mars Volta, it's time to rate the album of Paul McCartney
Rank
and Wings.
the record. It's called
Exactly.
Rate the Record, Kris. We've had 77 episodes of doing this. Get your shit together.
Started it.
Sucker.
Don't make me put it in the clip. I'll do it. Anyways, yes, it's time to rate the record. That is part 3. So let's go ahead and transition screens now. Whooshing. Hey, look at that, the album rating screen. We have a thing full of albums and
a new number 1.
Well, that was a little tiny while ago at this point. It was a few episodes back. The Mars Volta, yes, is our new number 1. I was going to point out the poster behind me, but we're not currently on camera right now, so that doesn't really matter anyways, even though I already pointed out the poster, so it doesn't really matter. Regardless,
yes.
What we did last week was the request for the Birthday Massacres Under Your Spell. Yeah. B- tier. Oh, look at that. We B-tiered something crazy to think.
Oh, no. There's no way we would ever B-tier anything ever.
We couldn't possibly B-tier a Beatle, could we?
Except for all of the B-tier things that are clearly on the screen right now.
And there are more B-tier albums combined than any other, like all the other tiers combined.
Oops.
Yikes. Anyways, we got shit to do. I was going to be commenting about that, but I probably shouldn't. Anyways, let us move on by actually putting this album somewhere on our list. That album being Paul McCartney and Wings with Band on the Run. So we got to determine where this is going to go. I guess I'm going first since it's your choice. So this is what I was alluding to in the beginning, saying like I own the album. I obviously like it. But I also alluded to the idea like it's just better to listen to casually rather than critically.
Yeah.
Critically,
can I guess before you say it? I want to guess. 74.
Okay. I'll tell you my score in just a second anyway, but you said 74 on the dot. Yep. That's fine. But yeah, so like listening to this album critically versus casually, I feel very differently about it. I don't hate it, but I will say Bluebird actually brought the score down significantly.
Oh no.
Like this is like a through her eyes scenario. Like this is bad.
It's like 68 then.
I'm still taking your 74, but that's close though because it was 67.77.
Holy shit!
Fucking Jet got a 9.5, but like, okay. Do you want me to like unveil the curtain? Bluebird got a 2.5 out of 10.
Oh my god!
Hated that. That's why I said went through her eyes. It's like the exact same shit, man.
Did that not get a lower score than Through Her Eyes did?
Through Her Eyes was either the same or 2 exactly.
Holy shit! I rated it so much higher than you did.
I knew you probably would.
I did not hate it that much. The things that I didn't like, I was like,
so
that's
what
fine.
You're saying is B tier album. Okay,
it is a B tier. It is a fucking B tier album because I rated it as an 80.22.
Oh, that's a little much.
It is a little much. If it was like 79, I'd be like, yes. Fine. I was anticipating maybe 74 to 76, so I thought that's where it would lie. But I think because I rated Band on the Run and Jet so high that it made up for the other ones that I rated a little lower. So, but I didn't go as low as 2.5. That is cruel. That is cruel.
That's a terrible song.
Yeah.
I don't do that often on the show. Very rarely do I rank songs that low. So know I do not like it. If it goes like I won't be polite either. If I hate it, I will let it fucking know.
Yeah.
But 67, not the best score, but not the worst. But with that said, our combined score, you keep saying 74. God damn, were you close because 73.99 right there. It is still regular B. It's not B minus. It's B straight.
Holy shit. It is better than Kate Bush, Hounds of Love. Not as good as Pearl Jam's 10. The very first episode.
He beat out an English lady, but not an American band. Oh,
yeah.
I can see this getting some controversy.
We're an American band. Can we do Grand Funk Railroad?
We could, but it'll probably be C tier.
Let's do that.
I think I like all of 2 Grand Funk Railroad songs, and everything else. They have one that annoys me endlessly.
Is it Locomotion? Because that and American Band are the only 2 that I know.
I can tolerate Locomotion. It's fun.
Yeah.
What's that fucking idiot? So the I'm Your Captain song. I'm getting closer to my home. Hate.
I don't know that one.
Ooh, that might even go lower. Although the first half of the song's good, the second half is just brutally annoying.
I'm Your Captain. Yeah.
Anyways,
never heard that song before. Okay.
Kind of just transitioning back in now because I've gotten out of cutting this part of the actual video. So, hey, here we are. Hello, welcome back to the camera on the screen. Look at that. Paul McCartney managed to get straight B tier. He beat out Kate Bush.
Yeah.
People were already mad enough at us for putting Kate Bush in the B tier. So now that
she's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. Everyone shut the hell up. She's getting what she deserves. Leave us alone. But not
our Hall of Fame. So that's what's going to piss people off more because we're like the standard of music.
Yeah, right? Not our Hall of Fame at all. Like, there's one, and it's just a picture of Kris for some reason. I don't know why it's there.
Well, because I'm like the founder. I'm like the CEO. I'm the president. I'm every position that you're not.
What are you, Elon Musk now?
Oh, fuck, don't even compare me to that guy. Because I think I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. Yeah. Come on now. Okay, that will get some hate. I know that'll get some praise, but hate.
Yeah, I don't think you're stupid in that way. But continue.
You're making me blush. Anyways, yes, that is Paul McCartney and Wings with Band on the Run. It is a B tier album, so that's where we put it. But now we want to know, where did you put it? How did you rank the songs? What did you think about the album overall? Let us know down in the comments below because we are super curious to know. We want you to be part of this discourse because that's exactly what this podcast is for, is discourse about music. We're not the only ones here. You're here too, so please let us know down in the comments of wherever you're listening.
And with an album like this, where our scores are so polarizing, I would like to know, are you closer to Kris's lower score or my higher score? Or do you lie somewhere in the middle?
I want to meet the person who's perfectly in between, like in the middle, like average median type thing.
Yeah. Gets it where it lies on the list. What, 73.99? That's their score.
And because this is a Beatle, I'm very curious about people who could be listening to this episode as well. They probably hate it because of all the tangents we went on.
To get to the point.
Just praise it already. No. But anyways, yes, we want to hear your opinions. Please let us know. You can let us know down in the comments below. You can let us know on our social medias at Rate the Record Podcast over on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. There's so many places you can let us know, and you can find all of those places at ratetherecord.ca. All the streaming links, social media, album giveaway, which remember, we are giving away the Arctic Monkeys. Whatever you people think I am not. I hate saying that album so much because it's so fucking long. But that's for May 2023, so you can fill that out. Album requests, Ko-fi, and I'm just gonna merch is out in there somewhere, so go ahead and check that out. All at ratetherecord.ca. I'm gonna make that more formal later, but I'll just cough that up now because it's technically on the website now.
Yeah. Why not?
We just consider that the cold opening, okay? How about that?
Yeah, I don't know what you said, so I can't repeat it. So
I hope no one else did too, but at the same time, they're gonna go to ratetherecord.ca and notice a brand new link there. I'll say that much. You know exactly what I'm talking about, though, even if you didn't hear me. Anyways, yes, we are at the end of the episode. So once again, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. And yes, we want to know your opinion. But before we let you go, we want to give you a little bit of a sneak preview of what to expect next week. So a couple of things regarding next week's episode. Didn't even really point out that today was the second last episode for season 4. So what could that mean for next week? Oh, it's the finale of season 4. Wow, we are there. It's fucking wild that we're there already. It feels like we just did the tea party like a handful of weeks ago.
Right?
So here we are, like 17 episodes through the season, and we finally finish it. 17 next week anyways. So I will say it is the first time in season 4 that we're going to be covering a band that we've already covered on the show. So we actually do have a comeback.
Brooks and Dunn.
This album that they're doing, yeah, God, I wish. This album came out 34 years ago, so it could be Brooks and Dunn.
Holy shit!
Yeah, no, that kind of freaks out a little bit, huh? 34 years ago, and has one of the band's most staple hits. And even if it's not like it is a pretty big hit single, but this is like a concert staple. It's like if they don't play it, people riot. Like this is a big song, very monumental album, and it's a debut album.
Ooh. I was going to guess Oak Ridge Boys with Elvira, but I think I'm wrong.
Elvira, like Big Titty Elvira?
No, like Elvira. My heart's on fire. It's a country song.
When you say Elvira, I think of Mommy Goth. Yes, please.
Yeah. I think of yes. You know what? Just Google it. I'm not even going to go there.
Yes, anymore. Google Elvira. I will do that immediately.
Yeah, sure.
Anyways, while you're Googling Elvira and trying to figure out what next week's album is, we will let you go now. So go ahead and go listen to some awesome music. Like, hey, maybe if you like Paul McCartney, maybe if you like the Beatles, check out Band on the Run.
Yeah.
And we will see you again next week. So take care, friends.
Bye-bye.